Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So today we're going to be checking out the CX-10W by CHEERSON. Go ahead and do an unboxing, a little inspection, setup, and flight test, and then come on back to the bench and do kind of a final pros and cons, quick little pros and cons on this guy. But this is the one where you can, CHEERSON finally came out with their version. Some other manufacturers have had this one for a little bit, and it's basically the one where you can connect to your cell phone and actually do FPV on your cell phone if you wanted to, and supposedly control it also from your cell phone while getting that video on your screen on your cell phone. So this will be kind of interesting. If you're interested in this guy, remember that the links are going to be down in the description of where you can go ahead and pick this one up if you are interested. This one looks like it does come in several different colors. This one here looks like I've got the black or gray version, and there's also a gold and a red or pink version here. You can see the different colors. There's the pink, there's the gold, and I guess I got the black version. But anyway, let's take this out of the box and see what it's all about. Okay, so it's the grayish silver version, and it looks like it's just kind of sitting in here in the box. We can see on the bottom right away, I can see this little antenna for the 2.4 gigahertz FPV to lock onto your cell phone Wi-Fi. The camera's in the front. We can see the little propellers on the top, and looks like there's a little light on the top there, indicator light on the top there. There's our little on-off switch and our charging point there on the side. Okay, so basically it looks like just like a CX-10C camera version, but this one's just a little bit bigger because it's got to incorporate that Wi-Fi transmitter and antenna there. So just pulling out the top, looks like there's this kind of neat little collar of foam, which if you're in the hobby, you'll definitely be able to use this foam for something else. And in the bottom of the box, it looks like we have the charger and 4 extra propellers. So you'll plug that end of the charger, this end of the charger here, into a computer or like a cell phone charger, and then plug this one in right into the charge port on the CX-10W there. Then they give you a little instruction manual, tiny little instruction manual. It's actually a little bit nicer than having that single piece of folded paper. It looks like they're getting a little better on their little instruction manuals. And this is going to show us how to connect it to our cell phone and do the controlling from the cell phone here. It looks like this is a graphic that's on the cell phone, and it's showing us how to control it through the cell phone. Now this one does not, as you can see, it does not come with a little mini controller. So if you did want to control it with a regular controller, what I'm going to be doing is trying to bind it possibly to some other CHEERSON controller, see if maybe the CX-10 or the CX-10C controller. So if we wanted to, we could actually control it with a controller as well. So I'll be going ahead and checking that out before we do the flight test coming up here in a sec, and see if that actually binds. But anyway, let's go ahead and start up the cell phone and see if we can get the app to work and connect it all up and make sure we can get it all connected to the cell phone. Okay, so got the CX-10W charged up, and gonna go ahead and connect it to a cell phone real quick and show you how it's connected. So what you want to do first of all is go ahead and download the CX-10W application. It's the application that looks like this right here. You're going to want to find this one here that's kind of a black and white with the orange on the bottom that says Wi-Fi version, and it's CX-10 Wi-Fi. So you're going to want to install that one. Once you install it, you just go ahead and turn on the CX-10W with the little switch on the side, set it down. Then you're going to want to go into your Wi-Fi settings. In this case, this is Android, so I'm in the Wi-Fi settings, and you can see that CX-10-W 66B83B just popped up. So go ahead and click on that. Then you're going to see here in your phone settings that that's going to start to connect. And you may get a message that pops up on your Android that there's no Wi-Fi, there's no internet access, stay connected. You got to hit yes. I already did that in this one and enabled it. So in any case, you go ahead and once you're connected through the Wi-Fi, you just click on the app that you just downloaded. You're going to be greeted with this screen here. So you're just going to hit play right here on the bottom right. And once you hit play, you can see that we're seeing a full FPV screen on the phone. We can see that we're seeing that FPV. And you can see the lag. There is a little bit of lag. Not too bad, maybe about 300 or so milliseconds of lag there. But still definitely FPV on the screen, which is awesome. The thing about this CX-10W version is you don't get a controller, and what actually I've been able to do is if you do have the CX-10 original or the CX-10 cameraed version, both controllers for that will bind to this. So we can see how it's working here, and these buttons up here, basically they do exactly what they say they do. Once you do connect, you're going to see the lights have gone on solid. That means we are connected and we're ready for control. And all you're doing basically is you're pushing up on these are basically your controls here on the screen. So you're just pushing up, and you can see how the props spin up and it works as normal. So you got your pitch, your roll, your yaw, and your throttle up here. Then if you want to take pictures, go ahead and do that. Takes a picture. You want to start and stop a video, it starts recording the video to your screens. A little bit weird lines in the screen just because of the white background here, but once we can see that once we have a darker background, those lines kind of go away. Anyway, start and stop video there, and then if you wanted to view your video, you press that button there on the top. Unfortunately, sometimes these apps crash. You can see right there how that app crashed. A lot of it depends on your operating system. You can see how I just went back in. I'm back in there. Let's try that again one more time. Let's go into, okay, that time it worked. So you can see how I went in to where you can view the videos and stuff. There's an image I just took there. You can swipe and you can look at your images going back. And then the video, just hitting the video here, and then you should be able to watch the video. Let's see if it actually will let me go ahead and watch a video. Sometimes I've been having some problems with some video players with these ones, but let's just see if VLC will work today. No, so VLC didn't work. Let's go ahead and try. I got a new app here, MX Player, which one of my subscribers recommended might work with this. So let's go ahead and allow. And that can't play file either. So unfortunately, you're going to have to find a video player that will play the video files. I haven't had any problems when I do transfer those video files from my phone to my computer. I'm able to go ahead and they play fine in the video editing software I use. So I'm not sure what the problem is, but hopefully you can find a video player that does work. Anyway, moving on to the top menu here, we have our rate percentage. So you can go from the 30 docile, pitch and roll, and yaw rate all the way up to 60 to 100. So that'll give you some faster flying there, just like a normal controller. Then you have the gyro mode where you press that and it actually goes ahead and uses your phone gyro to control the craft. You can see the right pitch and roll stick is moving around as I'm moving the phone. You're still going to have to control this manually here, but for pitching and rolling, it's kind of neat. You can just control your phone like that, and then you can turn that off. And of course, this is the user interface. You can turn it off or on. And then this is just kind of a reverse screen here. If for some reason you wanted to reverse your screen, I don't see why you'd want to do it on this craft. But if you had a craft and you mounted a camera upside down, you could go ahead and reverse it for right side up viewing. And then all this button over here is this should, once you hit this, we're watching the lights on the CX-10W, and when you hit that, it's just, you see them blinking now. It's going ahead and resetting the accelerometer is all that's doing. So if it's flying kind of weird and you can't tune that out, go ahead and put it on a super level surface, hit that scale button up there, and it will recalibrate the accelerometer. And then over here you also have some trims down here, but that's basically what it is. That's basically it for this app. Seems to work well so far on the table. So let's go ahead and charge the battery up again, and I'm going to get some hat cam video of this guy flying. I'm probably going to take it to the park Also going to do some house flight like I always do in all my videos with these guys, and see how it kind of does in park environment with a little bit of wind maybe, and then in the house in a windless environment. So let's go ahead and charge this guy up and go fly. Alright guys, we're at the park with a little CX-10 Wi-Fi, CX-10W, and it's a little bit windy right now. What I am going to do is just go ahead and bind up a CX-10C controller and show you how this will work also. If you have one laying around or you just want to buy a separate controller for this, it does work, it does bind up, and we're going to see if maybe all the controls work and what they do. Okay, so this is the CX-10 controller. We're hearing a couple of beeps, binding up and down. And we can see how it is bound, and it does work. Let's try to fly it. I am going to do a house test flight, and we're definitely going to use the cell phone to make sure it all works and see how it performs in the house. But for this flight, since it's kind of windy, I'm just going to fly it with this. So here we are in rate 1. So I'm full pitch forward, and you can see how it's still having quite a hard time fighting that wind. So I'm actually glad I'm not using the cell phone as a controller. It's just really hard in any kind of wind to use a cell phone as a controller. So I'm in rate 3 now, and it seems to definitely fight the wind a lot better here. And it's flying just pretty much exactly like the CX-10C would fly. You can see here, let's get a little close up of it, just kind of hovering in the sun. So everything is pretty much the same as far as flight characteristics as the CX-10C. You can see the wind kind of caught it there. So this is full pitch forward. Whoop. So I would really recommend getting a controller. I think you can buy these from the site where I'll have this guy linked. You can buy the controllers for these CX-10 Nanos at that site, and then if you want to bind it and say you already have this guy, just order a controller for a few bucks and you can bind it no problem. That way you have some options on how to fly it. I'm just going to fly around a bit, use up the battery, but like I said, it's definitely just about exactly as CX-10C would be. The yaw, I don't know, it seems like the yaw is a little slow. Yeah, so same yaw in all 3 rates. We get the pitch and we get a higher pitch and roll, but I really wish that yaw was maybe a little higher in rate 2 and 3, but it just seems like it's the same throughout. You can see how that yaw is pretty slow. Full yaw right now, and you can see how that's pretty darn slow. But that's alright. It's made for in the house anyway, slow flying, doing some FPV practice. See what the range is on this controller. It's about 50 there. Going ahead and doing some rolls. 75 about. So probably about the same as all the others. About 75 feet with if you were to use this controller. Full throttle up. Just getting a little bit sluggish. Not seeing any blinking lights yet. It's sitting surprisingly well in this much wind. You wouldn't normally fly something like this in you know, anything more than say 5 miles per hour, so this is actually doing surprisingly well. Having a little bit of a pitch issue now. Seems like a lot of nanos have this, where you'll be full pitch forward so occasionally and it'll have a little glitch and it won't give you that pitch you really need. So This one seems like it's no different. Once in a while it'll, but you know, it could be the controller. Maybe it's not specifically meant for this controller. It did bind, but I'm not gonna put many points against it. It may also just need a recalibration from a couple of crashes. See how I'm full pitch forward and it's just barely fighting that wind, and I am in rate 3, so there we go. It probably just needs a new compass cal. So there it is. It's hitting its low energy level battery power landing, and it went ahead and shut off the batteries after we cut a little bit of those clovers. Anyway, let's take this thing back to the house. That was a good flight. It did better than expected with a controller in this kind of wind. And so we'll get back to the house. We'll do a house flight with the cell phone. Make sure we put it through all its paces with this guy. All right, we're in the house. We can do a little house flight with the CX-10W, see how it does. And unfortunately with this one, you can't be flying it and have the FPV on your phone. You can't fly it with a controller and just use the FPV on your phone, kind of like I could do with the FQ77954, I think it was. Another little micro quadcopter where I was able to just have the FPV on the phone here, control it with the controller, and fly this around with the controller with the FPV up on here. That video for that one is down in my channel as well if you want to check that out. Pretty cool. But this one I couldn't get them both to connect. I couldn't connect to the phone with the FPV, and then when I tried to connect the controller, it would not bind to both. So unfortunately that's not going to be an option. So what I'm going to do is just fly it around with the controller for a second, and then I'm going to switch over to the phone and fly it around with the phone inside, see how it does. So we're just binding, and let's go for a flight. All right, so there's a lift, and of course you can't really be recording any kind of video if you're using a controller like this. This is just the CX-10 controller from a different model without the camera that binds, no problem. So that's full throttle up. This is our rate 1. There's our yaw. Clicking in our left stick goes through the rates. So there's our rate 3, rate 1, rate 2, and rate 3 again. So it gets a little faster at each rate. And then clicking in the right thumbstick, we can do our flips. It will drop a bit. This is a little heavier because it's got the camera and the whole Wi-Fi thing inside of it. So it's going to drop a little bit on flipping. Looks like the yaw stays the same throughout the 3 rates. That's pretty much about it. That's all you can really do with this one. So really quickly, just going to go ahead and shut it off and rebind to the phone really quick and show you how you can fly it with your phone. So we're turning on again. Then we're going into our Wi-Fi settings. And we're making sure we see the CX-10W there and connecting. And then we're going out and we're just booting up the CX-10W app that we downloaded from the App Store. So I'm clicking that on, hitting play here. And it should immediately bind and we're ready to go. See, we have the throttle there. So if you think it's a little bit skewed, you can just hit this scale button here, and that will go ahead and level the accelerometer. So make sure you're on a level surface. And then you have, of course, all the other stuff. You can adjust the rates up. We'll go up to 100. You can start and stop your recording. Let's start recording here. And then let's go ahead and use the phone's gyro to control it. So we're going to click this little gyro button here. And as you can see, it's moving around that right stick as we move the phone. And so let's just try to fly it with the phone's gyro. Oop. It's going to be, it's a little difficult to get used to, but it will fly.
So you have to control the yaw and the throttle with your left thumb, and the rest is the pitch and roll is all controlled through the phone. As you can see, that's pretty neat, yeah? So it's controlling it all nice and easy through the phone. Not sure how much power we have left, but just gonna go ahead and try it out here. So forward, back, right, left, all works very well. And of course, the further you push it forward, the faster it's gonna go. It's full forward, full back. It's just a little hard to use the gyro because you've got to keep your thumb on the throttle. There's no altitude hold, and it's not gonna, the yaw is not gonna turn by moving your phone. So you've got to keep your thumb on the throttle in the yaw. That's the only thing about using the gyro phone for pitch and roll. I'm going to turn that gyro off. Then we have our regular control here with our thumbs, and it does work very well. I'd recommend bumping it up to 100% right away, just so you have more control of the craft. You definitely don't want to be flying this in any kind of wind. You can fly outside, but as you saw in the park video, it's really tough to fly in any kind of wind, especially with the phone. So there's our low-level blinking lights. I could never figure out how to really flip this thing with the phone control, but there it goes. It's doing its self-landing, and I just have full throttle on, and I'm just going to wait until it stops there. So I'm going to stop the video, and there we go. So that was it with the Wi-Fi. You can see here. Let me go ahead and take off the thumbsticks for a second. You can see how the Wi-Fi it's pretty. The response time is pretty good. If we're looking at, I'll tilt the craft really fast, and you can see the screen. Now that's really good for Wi-Fi. That's only like 100 or 200 milliseconds, so that's pretty good for a Wi-Fi FPV of the 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi range. And the camera isn't bad. You can see how the colors are nice. It's nice and bright. It is evening time here, so we're just having the living room lit by some of the evening light, and then the lights around the house. So anyway, that's it. A little bit of you can see there I'm having a little bit of a hiccup. There's Mr. Stormtrooper, hello. And there we go. So seems to be working pretty well. I'd say a little bit of a con from the other Mini, that FQ77 that I was able to hook up. It was pretty cool. I was able to actually control it. I'll give you a little demo of what it looked like. With the FQ77, you're able to control with a controller like this. Put it on a mount. The FQ77 954 didn't come with a mount, but I was able to just use this mount off of the Boeing M19 hexacopter. And I was able to switch off the thumb controls and have the FPV on my phone, and also control it with the regular controller. So anyway, this one is either or. So you're not going to be able to, as I said before, you're not going to be able to control it like this with a controller and have FPV. It's either or. It's either phone control with FPV or controller with no FPV, as far as I can see on the CX-10W. But nonetheless, definitely a indoor flyer for sure. It's going to work great in no wind, but when you get any kind of wind, I would not recommend it. Anyway guys, I hope you liked the review. Go ahead and check out my channel. I got a lot of reviews like this, and also do reviews on action cams, larger quadcopters, regular RC cars, and all kinds of stuff. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.